Welcome back to my playthrough of the Academic League of Iivar. Last episode, I conquered my neighbor. My economy certainly has some issues to be sorted out. I have 15% stability, 22% stability on the planets I've taken over, but they're not too bad on habitability. All of the pops that you've just conquered will get this recently conquered modifier that reduces their happiness by 20% and their governing ethics attraction by 25%, which means that they're likely to form a faction against you, which will reduce their happiness even further if you don't meet their demands. It kind of becomes a mess. I now have this new species. They are latent psionics. They must have, they have this shrouded world here, and they have latent psionics. I guess they had the Teachers of the Shroud origin. That's pretty interesting. Currently, by the default settings, they have residence, and residence reduces happiness, but they use less amenities, and they have less political power. Political power is, let me go to Iivar, for example. This planet has a 96% happiness, and that gives it a lot of stability. And that's because if I click on one of these pops, the worker jobs here, they have 1 political power. That's it. They only have 1 political power. However, every 5 workers contributes the same amount to the pop approval rating as 1 specialist. So if you keep your specialists happy, then your planet will be far more happy as a whole, even if your workers are absolutely miserable. And then the ruling class has 10. So every 10 worker jobs would have the same effect on the overall pop approval rating. So if you have an unhappy ruler, that can really screw with your planet. And the different policies you have change what that weight is. These aliens, which have terrible happiness because of their low amenities, recently conquered, and residents, you want to keep their political power low so that that they don't completely rebel on your planet and things like that. Almost more importantly than the lack of stability, I recently conquering those worlds now means that I have a deficit in a lot of things because all of these new pops that I've acquired now have demands of what they want. So to fix the immediate issue is I'm going to turn off research subsidies. That way I'm not spending as much on my researchers just to save a bit of energy. I'm thinking about these 2 star bases. I don't really need both of them, but I'd like to keep one of them. I'm going to delete their home star base. I'm going to downgrade this. So I think if I downgrade that, that'll just save me a little bit of energy, and I don't really need the both star bases. I just need the one on this choke point over here. I'm going to dismantle these anchorages. I really just want to save any energy I can. I'm going to switch this over to a hydroponics bay. Then I'm going to send my ships over to repair. So food is currently the biggest shortage right now, but I do have a bit of a surplus of that. What they somehow, for some reason, demolished their starting agriculture districts. I don't know why the AI chose that was a good decision. I'm going to go into here, economic policy. I'm going to go to civilian economy, because at this point I don't need that many alloys. I really need to make sure that I do not hit a deficit yet. So I very quickly need to remedy this situation. Here, I will build an agriculture district because I absolutely need agriculture districts. So one other thing I'm going to do is that there are some alloy jobs, but I really need consumer goods. So I'm going to switch this planet over into factory world. That way, these metallurgists turn into artisans and I get even more consumer goods since I'm suffering on consumer goods right now. I'm going to deprioritize the mining jobs in order to get more people working in food. It's okay if I have a little less minerals for a while, but I need food and energy. So one thing I like to do when conquering planets, some of my species have moved over to their planet and they're happier. They don't get as much of the malice, so I can put my species in charge of the planet, ideally. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the resettle button because there's so much unemployment on this planet, that is absolutely lowering stability, and they're eating into my amenities even though they're not working jobs. And overall, this planet is below, I feel like, 40% stability. If your planet goes under 40% stability for too long, then it could be a full-scale revolt. You start getting the situation that leads to a revolt. So I want to get the stability up as quick as possible so that doesn't happen. My planets have a bunch of free open jobs, and I want to move their population over to these planets that already have high stability in order to spread out kind of that unhappiness modifier between other planets that can actually handle that decrease in stability, instead of having them all pooled together in one place. I'm going to kind of move them throughout my empire in a strategic way. So from their capital world, which is currently the most unstable. I'm going to resettle some of their unemployed pops. Ideally, I get that ruler gone because that ruler has 0% happiness. So this is really contributing a lot to this. So if I send their ruler over to my capital, that'll mean that my capital can take that hit of stability, and then they can demote on my capital. So I'm going to spend 500 energy and 50 unity to do this, but I move them over to my capital. That way this malice is applied to my capital. My capital can absolutely handle this, and then they can demote. It takes a long time for them to demote to a worker, but that way they can do it on a stable planet and not contribute to a revolt. Let's see, these specialists, I would also like to get them somewhere else. I think I will also send them to my capital as well. I cannot afford it. Okay, I'm gonna sell all of my minerals so that I can keep shipping people around. I'm a little tight on resources. This could actually be pretty bad. And then I'm gonna send these to Iivar as well. It's gonna cost a lot, but I think it's worth it. And then finally, I will resettle all of these workers that are unemployed. So I had 15% stability before resettling those pops, and now I have 24% stability. They have formed a faction. So this is what I was saying. Because I conquered a world full of spiritualists, and they're even more likely to drift away from my ideology since they were just recently conquered, they have formed some factions that oppose my general ethics. So they have formed the Alliance of Faith and Values. They disagree that we have robots. They want us to be spiritualist. They don't want us to settle any tomb worlds. And then Freedom Movement, anti-autocratic. They don't like that we are a dictatorship. They want to be able to move freely. They want to have reproductive freedoms. And they want a benevolent subjugation policy. I want these factions, that's another negative 10% happiness, and then this one's a negative 40% happiness. So that means that these planets are going to be even less stable. So what I'm going to do is actually give some of the freedoms that they're asking for to just like allow for a minor amount of stability. So first off, one that I'm okay with is population controls. I'm going to ban population controls because I'm not going to be really doing that anytime soon anyways, so I'm okay if that allows the faction to see. That saved me 30% happiness just by that one change. I could disable a resettlement, but I've been using that to solve these planet problems. I'm not going to disable that. I want the control over settling my people, moving them around at this point. Robotic workers, no, absolutely not. I think that's the best I can do. That one change just makes this modifier a little less awful. The faction is angry, but they're not like completely rebellious. At this point, it's only food that I'm struggling on, which should be fine. Let's see, decisions. I could declare martial law, but this reduces resources from jobs by 33%, and it gives stability from having soldier jobs. Do I enact martial law? That'll probably mean I'll go back into a deficit of consumer goods. Okay. I've made 3 encounters immediately, and they do have some mining stations here. So unfortunately, my science ship over here cannot survey that system, but I will explore. When you get these 3 encounters like this, that usually means that there is one of those Federation origins. Interesting. I'm going to start first contact with this one. What I got to do here, I'm going to replace one of these bureaucratic offices with a hollow theaters. I think that's going to be worth it. With this, replace this, solve the amenities crisis a little. And what I can also do is decisions, distribute luxury goods. That'll give a bit more amenities as well. That'll just help stabilize the planet. If I can get over 40%, then I just write out the bad modifier, and I don't have to go into martial law, which would be preferable not to have to go into martial law. I've also ran out of housing on my capital world, so I'm going to clear one of these industrial wastelands so I can build another city district here. I now have an amenities surplus on their capital. I'll soon have a much bigger surplus, and that should push me over 40%. Now I have 45% stability. So this planet, I've stabilized their capital for the most part, because this colony is staying at a pretty low stability, and I'm not sure how I'm going to get it up. I could move some of my pops over to this planet, like a hollow theaters job. That way they bring their happiness over to this planet. I want to be careful on my timing so that my pops can work the hollow theaters and not theirs. I'm going to move one of my colonists over here so that they have my colonists over here. That way it replaces their people. Okay, so see, now that my people are as their colonists, they are pretty happy here. And this planet is suddenly stable now. Even though that they're now unemployed and have 0% happiness. Getting my pops on their planets and bringing their pops onto my planets. Kind of just moving, you want to break apart the unhappy population. That way they can't work together against you. Divide and conquer, essentially. I could get my ship upkeep down a little bit. That would be nice. I'll do that. It does make my naval capacity go up, which will just continue making it harder to make my militarist faction happy. It's here. I can start building star bases again, I feel like, now that I've mostly solved my issues. I think I can demolish some of these luxury residences. I don't really need the housing or amenities. I don't like luxury residences because you get way more housing from city districts, and they also give you building slots and things like that, way more valuable. And then hollow theaters give you way more amenities. So luxury residences, I never find I build them ever. They don't offer enough to be worth a building slot, I feel like. So I'm gonna demolish those. So I could get this trade value. So what I'm gonna do is, I do have a trade route now because I have these 2 star bases. Currently there's 6 trade value traveling across this route, and I have a base protection of 2. Which means that piracy will start happening soon, and you can get an event where like a pirate fleet will spawn that you have to go take out. Each corvette gives you 10 piracy suppression. So I'm gonna break off like 3 corvettes from my main fleet and set them to patrol to the starbase. Just check it follows the same route. And that way this fleet will just move between these 2 points constantly. Current piracy that's like negative 0.23 will slowly build, and once that gets over 2, I'll start having like losing trade value. Every time my fleet enters the system, it'll lower that value. So if it keeps passing through those systems, eventually the piracy will go away, as long as the suppression is higher than the piracy is. And I'm going to go ahead and put a trade hub on this starbase so that I can pick up this 18 trade value from their previous capital. I'll just explore up here. They already have starbases claimed. Or do they not? Oh, they don't. I thought that I swear I saw a starbase over here. Where did that go? And they do have some mining stations here. Wait, where did I see the starbase? I'm very confused. Okay, hollow theaters are about done, which now means that this planet, their colony, is very stable. Their capital is teetering on the edge of stability. Okay, now I'm picking up the trade value, which means I'm getting even more piracy. So you can see as this ship enters here, the piracy goes down, and now there is no more piracy. It has been suppressed. You don't want the ship traveling too far of a route, because if there's enough time between it passing through the system, then the piracy can actually grow beyond what you can suppress. So still something to think about. Oh, their specialists that were causing a problem, they have demoted now. Their previous ruler of their world that is demoting still has 2 years to go until fully demoted. Organize a festival across our worlds. So I could do 1,000 energy for 15% happiness and 10% growth speed across all of my worlds. That is really good. So that these planets are now... I should have done that earlier. I totally forgot that was an option. Yeah, this artist guild is really, really pulling its weight. But yeah, look at that. My planets now actually have decent happiness, and these planets are totally stable now. I'm also thinking I'll probably get a shipyard on this station. I think a shipyard. I like shipyards over defenses. Ships can move around, where starbases are static. So putting weapons on starbases really is limiting unless you particularly know that there's an attack coming from a certain direction. I suppose you could retool a starbase for that attack, but overall I like the starbases for their utility purpose, like trade value and shipyards, over going for the starbase itself as a military force. And then I just move my ships around to actually deal with stuff. The outrage. The Festival of Worlds, organized by the Artisan Trope, had, for a time, brought joy to the people of the Academic League of Iivar. Alas, it was not meant to last. On Gildern's Garnet, festival activities have resulted in a huge crowd stampeding and killing thousands of citizens. It is not clear what circumstances led to this tragic loss of life, but there is now growing resentment towards our administration and festivals organizers alike. So, unfortunate, organized panic for 2 years, reducing happiness and reducing energy output from jobs, or divert the media's attention, and I just get a influence hit. 20% less happiness, would not necessarily throw my stability too far down, and I'm not producing any energy on this planet anyways. So I'm going to go for unfortunate and not spend my influence because I'd rather have the influence. Yeah, see, I still have enough stability on this planet. It sucks, but it's fine. Ooh. Why did this pop approval rating sound? Oh, did I lose these happiness from that thing? Wait, it removed it for everything? Oh, that's empire-wide? Not just on that one planet? Oh, I should have spent the influence. No, I did not realize that was empire-wide. I thought that was just for the planet. I thought it was going to be a planetary feature. Dang it. But I think I'll go for prosperity. I'll start working down that instead of finishing supremacy, since I don't see any wars in the near future, hopefully. Ooh, communications established. They are fanatic, authoritarian, and materialist, the Irzuku Star Realm. I speak on behalf of the Irzuku Star Realm, and I have authorized to bring you greetings, as long as you stay out of our internal affairs and treat our great leader High King Salin I with reverence. I see no reason for our diplomatic relations to sour. As fellow star explorers, we salute you. Maybe we'll be friends, maybe we won't, but I'm gonna leave the door open for at least like a non-aggression pact for a while. They're not an immediate enemy anyways. So this is the Citizen Coalition of Woleus. They are authoritarian, they're xenophile, and they're militarist. Strategos Kawik Minoka sends regards from the ruling council of the Citizen Coalition of Woleus. We hope for a productive relationship with your impressive nation, and our military has been instructed to treat all members of your species with respect. Cool. These guys seem friendly as well. Our warriors salute you, Yiv Zorakai. And then the Hijam Concern, they are a mega corporation, they are authoritarian, they are xenophile, and they are militarist. Greetings, I speak for Chief Executive Officer Segnoth Gangway and the wealthy elite of the Hijam Concern. We are always looking for new trading partners among the many diverse and delightful alien nations we encounter as our ships explore the galaxy. Our warriors salute you, Hijami. They're friendly, cordial. Relations are pretty good with this group. What I'm going to do is establish embassy. I probably won't join their federation, but I might get a federation association. That would be interesting. Association status would basically, it functions the same as a non-aggression pact, but for the federation as a whole. So I'm going to go ahead and send an envoy to improve relations with them. What I can also do is I'm currently belligerent. I think I can move to cooperative. If I were to do this, I'll improve relations faster, which could be good. It will make my militarist faction a little less happy because they like aggressive diplomacy. So you know what? Screw them. I'm going to switch over to cooperative because I want to make sure that I want to buddy up to this federation. Okay, they have accepted, all three of them have accepted my embassies. Propose a commercial agreement. The mega corporation gives additional benefits because they build holdings on your planets instead of just normal commercial packs. And that also lets me see where their borders are. So they are pretty big over here. The Star Realm is going to be the one that actually borders me. Oh, I think research agreements would be great. Let me get research agreements with any of you all that I can. And I'm going to ask for association status. It'll increase trust up to a maximum of 100. Trust is important because it's basically a relation bonus from having a long-standing pact. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and ask for association status, and that'll mean that this border is this flank is secure. They have accepted the research agreement. That's good. Extra research, and they've accepted the association status. Fantastic. And now I see their borders. Wow, this Citizen Coalition got completely screwed over. Their two Federation members just stole all of the stars around them. They didn't even get this little star over here. I feel bad for them. I don't like playing the Federation starts because you're competing immediately at the start of the game for territory. I'd like to get research agreements with all three of them because if I can, it'll make my science faction even happen because they want the science without borders. I wonder why the habitability is so low in the Savannah world. Aren't they from Savannah world? I don't get it. Why is it only 60%? Oh, it's because they're aquatic. That's kind of annoying. They're aquatic, but they also have a Savannah preference. What? I didn't know you could get aquatic trait when you have a Savannah preference. What is going on? So it gives 20% ocean habitability on top of But the normal, because they have a savanna preference, they only have a 20% ocean habitability anyways. So they have a 40% habitability on ocean planets, on just normal ocean planets. But that means that they need more housing usage and they lose habitability on regular worlds. That's dumb. I don't think you should be allowed to pick aquatic if you don't already have an ocean preference, right? Requires one of the following planet classes, ocean world. You're not allowed to put aquatic. Like when you're building your own custom empire, if I have a savanna world, you're not allowed to click on aquatic. You're only allowed to click on aquatic if you're on an ocean world planet. Literally, that species is invalid. I could never create that species myself. Oh, that's so annoying. They get a minus 20% habitability for no reason. And because they aren't on ocean worlds, they can't actually settle ocean worlds that they need to settle. So oh man, that sucks. I guess maybe if I get genetic modification, I can remove it. But it's literally against the rules of the game. You're not allowed to put aquatic. I've never seen that before. They're like, on their savanna worlds, on the dry world class, they're like, please, I'm so parched, I require water. I'd like to get Septrim before the Izuk star realm. I won't go any further. I'll let them have these 2 stars. Migration treaty proposal. Before I accept a migration treaty, what I like to do is look at what their habitability is. They are continental preference. I don't have any wet worlds in my empire borders, though. It's all cold or dry, so they wouldn't be able to settle any of my worlds anyways, or move to any of my planets anyways, so it'd just be a waste of influence. Only if you like absolutely need all of the relations you can possibly get from trust would I go for it. So I'm going to decline that. It's really powerful if you have, like, if I found someone with an Arctic preference, so maybe I do a migration treaty with the Hejam concern and get their pops to start settling on these alpine worlds that I have scattered and the Arctic worlds I have scattered, because their preference is, they have a tundra preference. I'm going to go ahead and go with a migration treaty with them, but none of the other 2. Oh, actually, the neat thing is because they're a federation and they probably have migration treaties between each other, I actually get access to all of their pops anyways. So it doesn't really matter who I do a treaty with because they're already friends. So if I do a colony ship, yeah, so I get access to the Hejam, the Urzuk, and the Yi Zorak. So actually it didn't matter which one I picked the migration treaty from. I want to switch my economic policy over back to mixed economy. Oh, and finally, the recently conquered modifier is gone. So these people are actually vaguely happy with me. Of course, the ones that have these opposing factions are still kind of a problem. This will be my alloy foundry world. This colony designation gives some stability and amenities for the first 5 pops, but then it's not allowed anymore. If you are okay with micromanaging, you could just wait until you have the pops and then take this bonus. But you could also just immediately switch it over to the thing you want. I like the organization of like knowing, oh, this planet's gonna be Forge World, so I just put this on, even less so for the actual benefit, but more so just for the organizational purposes. Also, one thing I want to do is, I can see that they have some unidentified empires that they know and have closed their borders to. So I'm going to offer a trade deal to the Hejam, and I'm just going to throw some energy at them. We are receiving transmission from the Priki T. Okay then. These are fanatic purifiers. The little lizard fanatic purifier that's from the Shield World event, I believe. Quake in fear, alien scum, for your doom approaches. The Priki will cleanse this galaxy of every misbegotten Xeno civilization that pollutes it with their presence. Iivar shall burn. They are an Akrenic monarchy. They are fanatic, xenophobe, and pacifist. We are the Kingdom of Chirk, a peaceful nation ruled justly by our beloved Queen Ungenrot. I do not know what barbarity or bizarre species is capable of, but we hope future grievances can be settled through dialogue rather than violence. So over here is the Priki T. I'm immediately going to close borders and declare rivalry. I'm just going to let this be. They're isolationist. I don't really care about them. They probably won't declare war since they're pacifist. Oh, the Priki T has declared war on the Urzaku Star Realm. Now we shall see which empire is stronger. So their federation is going up against the Prekiti. Yeah, hopefully they'll win. I don't know how powerful the Prekiti are. It looks like they probably only have 1, maybe 2 planets. But they are fanatic purifiers, so they do get a bunch of benefits. The birth of the galactic community. A great day for the galaxy. I'm going to go for integrated cybernetics because I want to go down the cybernetics tree. Oh, the Prekiti have taken this starbase over here. A battered fleet of civilian vessels carrying Azuk fleeing from the Prekiti have arrived in our space. After we supplied them with food and provided medical attention to their wounded, the refugees were allowed to settle on Gildern's Garnet. These ragged and frightened refugees are survivors from the extermination program being carried out by the Prekiti authorities against their species. They only made it out thanks to the efforts of a hastily organized underground railroad and a few sympathetic merchant skippers. Welcome here, we get 10 intel on the Prekiti, and because they're a fanatic purifier, they're in a total war, which means they just immediately annex that planet. Yeah, they're kind of scary, for sure. I hope we can deal with them. It's so much more fun to watch a war with a total war, and you can actually see the borders immediately update. It feels way more menacing. I'm going to turn back on research subsidies so I can upgrade my civilian fabricators and get even more consumer goods. Each artisan produces an additional consumer good, but they also cost an additional mineral. Hejam concern does have a superior fleet power. Hopefully they can use that to take out the Prekiti. I'm very concerned about their expansion. I'm about to border them pretty soon, which is a bit scary. Think I might want to put a starbase up on Septrum. Thinking I should probably finish up Supremacy now that I'm seeing that Prekiti conflict could come soon. Let's see, the Prekiti have at least 15 ships with 2.1k fleet power, so we're equivalent-ish. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up Supremacy now. Oh, I guess what I could also do is trade deal active sensor link, just so I can see what's going on in the war. It does not look like the Prekiti have 2 fleets. Oh, no, they absolutely have another fleet. Oh, they also have... Oh, geez. Oh, okay. Yeah, the Prekiti are very scary. I need to do everything I can to prepare. I am not ready to deal with them right now. They have 8.5, another fleet that's 8.5, 60 corvettes. I do not like that. Build up more destroyers. Oh, their fleet got just demolished. No. Fortunately, the war exhaustion's getting high, which means the war hopefully will end in a status quo. I think a starbase here with some defensive upgrades will be good. Gonna put a spy network on them, start getting some intel. More refugees are coming in. Well, it's up to me to hold them off. I think I gotta switch this over to just a regular industrial world. That's gonna trash my consumer goods, but I need all the alloys I can get. More industrial districts everywhere. Birth of space piracy. I'm going to cancel this upgrade and immediately send it over. Fortunately, it's right next to where my ships already were, so I can wipe them out really easily. Oh, okay, the Prekiti made a white peace, so they now have all this territory. They took their capital. Let's wipe out these. I think I'm gonna transfer a corvette over to my anti-piracy fleet. Okay, yeah, the 7 should be enough. I now share a border with the Prekiti. I'm gonna put some gun batteries over here and a communications jammer. So this system is has shield nullification by 100%, which means shields just don't work here. Disruption field generator would be pointless. And actually, that's an interesting idea. If what I have, my entire war strategy for this war could be that I build my ships with 100% armor and I fight my sole battle here. So actually, I could switch this over to just all armor because I know I'm not going to be able to have shields anyways. So that I can just like absolutely devastate their fleet in the first battle. Yes, strategy. So yeah, now all my ships are outfitted with only just tons of armor. The destruction of Chirk. A disorganized evacuation effort saved some of their citizens, but the majority seem to have still been on the planet's surface when it disintegrated around them. The projected death toll is catastrophic. Yeah, I've never actually seen the AI manage to successfully do that. But yeah, that completely ruins their fleet power and technology level. Okay, Chirk. The Tizru Empire has joined the galactic community. What's up with you? The Tizru Empire is a feudal empire. They are fanatic, authoritarian, and pacifist. They're at war with someone. The Buron Bloodletters. There are a lot of fanatic purifiers in this galaxy. Biharon Bloodletters are another fanatic purifier group. That's annoying. I will declare rivalry, I suppose. And then there are so many fanatic xenophobes in this galaxy already. Fallen Empire, the fanatic xenophobe Fallen Empire. I've gotten up to 5.9k fleet power. I mean, unfortunately, my economy and my research is much higher than the Pre-KT, so it's just a matter of outpacing them, which should be feasible. The cool thing is that if I'm going heavy on the lasers, is that this one system, because I have the shield nullification here, I'm just going to deal insane amounts of damage to their armor and hull, and I don't have to worry about dealing with shields at all. So hopefully, this system will be a trap. They flood in their ships, and then I absolutely demolish their ships in this system. The Biharon Bloodletters are certainly far more terrifying than the Pre-KT. I mean, the Pre-KT are already quite scary. I'll upgrade all my ships with the new latest and greatest computers and armor. Oh no. The Pre-KT are planning to declare war on us in at least 2 years. Get these upgrades out as quickly as possible. But at least I can finish my supremacy tree. Policies, so diplomatic stance, I'm going to go supremacist. This will reduce my war exhaustion gain, give me more naval capacity. And then war doctrine. I could either go for hit and run. This will mean that my fleet can stay alive easier, or I can go defensive depth and deal more damage in my home territory. Thing is that if I lose this initial battle, I'm pretty much doomed anyways. So I'm putting all of my bets that my strategy of Septrim battle that'll happen will be so devastating to their fleet power that I'll wipe out a huge amount of their ships, and then once their fleet is depleted, I can push up into their territory, take their capital, and end the war. So what I'm thinking is I want to deal as much damage in that battle as possible, and if it means the destruction of my entire fleet, then so be it. I'm hedging all my bets that this strategy is going to work. Dude, one vision could be pretty good in destroying those factions that have been a problem. I'm going to go for one vision. There are some marauders down here. That kind of sucks. Yeah, things are closing in. This galaxy is extremely hostile. I mean, I was extremely hostile when I first started, and I'm paying for it. Okay, I've finally, with that upgrade for the armor and the additional things, I've actually gotten my fleet power up to 11,000, which means I'm now in an equivalent fleet power to the Pre-KT. Slightly comforting. They are moving their fleets into position, I see. Oh geez, I'm moving my fleets into position too. Got 2,000 fleet power from the starbase combined with my 11,000 from my fleet. Okay, I mean, I'm probably as ready as I'm gonna be. I'm glad that they added that update where you can see the warning in advance. I could swap out one of these gun batteries with the shipyard so that my fleet can just stay here while I upgrade so I don't have to move it back, because I'd hate to be out of position when the war happens. But I do lose a bit of fleet power if I do that. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and swap out one of these with the shipyard so that I can upgrade my ships on the front lines. Federation invitation. The Citizen Coalition of Wolius would like us to join their federation, which is a hegemony. Federations of this type are most often built around powerful empires surrounded by lesser satellite states. Members cannot freely leave the federation without the president's approval. Who is the president, by the way? That's weird. The Federation is named the Grand Urzuku League, but the Citizen Coalition of Wolius is actually the president. I'm not willing to give up my freedom, though. I mean, that's the interesting idea. If I join their Federation, it'll spread the Pre-KT thin in the coming war, which will give me just, like, it'll make their fleets have to move around, but then I won't be able to leave the Federation, and I really want my independence. I don't like that idea. If it was a Federation, if it was any other Federation and not a hegemony, I would join it easily. I'm just gonna gamble that my prep has been enough, and I'm gonna decline. I'm sorry. I'm not willing to give up that level of autonomy. Now I can start upgrading my ships at this starbase. Yeah, I am very intimidated by the fleet that they just have sitting right next to my borders, ready to jump in at any moment. It's one thing that I don't know if you know, you can do this. You can land your armies on your worlds, and they will help in the defense. The AI never seems to do this. I do have soldiers here that I'm training up. I would like to fend off any planetary invasions, ideally, if they do get past my lines. I really hope they don't. Governing ethics shift in the Tizru Empire, they are becoming more militaristic. Good. Those that would destroy all life must be destroyed. I'm getting my advanced lasers equipped. Yeah, this will deal a lot of damage. Okay. War has commenced. I shall insult them. And with that, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy this cliffhanger. Goodbye.